Here we go. So welcome everyone to our Christmas shenanigans today with Kelly and Janny. Hi. So we are part of the Victas region in with Thermomix in Australia, and we're actually farthest apart than possible. So Kelly, whereabouts are you based?
Okay, so our branch is, they call us a Geelong branch, but really we're from Portland all the way to the edge of Melbourne pretty much. So along the coast, we've got the 12 Apostles and all those beautiful areas too. And I sit on a hill near Cobden, so in a place called Jancourt East, the Toorak of Jancourt. So I sit up here on a hill in the middle of my branch. It's lovely.
Yeah, there you go. So, and me, I'm pretty much the other half of the bay. So I'm looking after central Melbourne and the Bayside area, all the way down, almost down to the peninsula. So that area. So as you can see, Christmas all over the place, and we have planned a couple of fun things together with you today. And Kelly, I think you're going to start with, what are you going to do first?
Yes, so as many of my followers know, I am gluten-free, and I am very adamant that just because you're gluten-free doesn't mean you have to miss out on special things like Christmas, nor pay an absolute fortune. So today I'm making a beautiful gluten-free Christmas pudding. And I will say, I did a bit of a look around at the shops, and the price of Christmas puddings is through the roof. I understand that fruit is expensive, but it is next level. So on average, by making your own gluten-free Christmas pudding, and I'm going to run you through the steps today of this bad boy here, you will save about $40, I would say. And the steps are very, very simple. Don't be scared off by the time. It is just steaming time. And the reason for that is the Thermomix will ding to tell you to top it up with water. So it's not like the old days where you'd forget to top it up and it'd boil dry. The Thermomix has you covered for absolutely everything. Now, with the Christmas pudding, I will state it is to taste. So that's a really important one. So you can choose to put in different fruits and that to your own taste. Now, with this delicious pudding, it does have peel in it. And I would love to know, guys, type into the chat, do you like peel in your Christmas pudding? Because I find this can be polarizing. So I've got lemon and blood orange peel here, something a little bit different. I have found in this pudding, it's not like getting big chunks of peel like the old school pudding. It's just a light flavour. But if you don't like peel, you can omit that. Janny, do you put peel in your puddings?
I personally don't eat pudding, and probably one of the things what I don't like about it is the peel.
Oh, there you go. I might convert you today. Let's give it a blitz.
Right. So whilst this is blitzing, probably the reason, or one of the reasons also why I don't have Christmas pudding is because my background is German, and we don't do Christmas puddings in Germany. We have other good stuff, and that's what I'm going to focus on later today.
Yes, well, it's funny, they're Irish, so I'm Irish, and this is the shenanigans, really, isn't it? You're going to see a lot of both sides. So Janny, of course, will focus more on her traditional Christmas, whereas pudding is a must-do with us. So you've got peel. It is really nice and fine. We give it a scrape down and that into the bowl. And what we're doing here is setting our fruit up for the soak. So we're doing our peel. We'll give it another quick blitz, another 5 seconds, and then we're going to look at the different kinds of fruit that we're going to put into this pudding. Okay, so we've double blitzed the peel, easily done. It's nice and fine now. If you didn't want peel, you just omit the step altogether. Okay, then we choose our fruit. So, as I said, it is a personal taste thing, yeah? Okay, so it asks us for 90 grams of raisins, 90 grams of sultanas, 90 grams of currants, and 90 grams of dried cherries. I have a mixture here. I like to have quite a bit more in the way of sultanas and currants. That's just a personal preference, but I do have some beautiful dried sour cherries and that in there too. So they give the pudding a real tang. Okay, so we've got all of our fruit there. In it goes. Then it wants alcohol. So we have choices. This is where it gets fun. Okay.
Don't you soak the fruit like in 3 months' time prior in rum or something before you put them into your?
This is
or is it a different recipe?
Oh, that's a different one. This is a fast pudding, and I'm going to teach you some things that'll hopefully get you making pudding soon. So we've got brandy. That's a traditional one. We also have rum. Now, rum and pudding go really well together personally. A 50-50 mix. So it's 90 grams. So say 45 of rum and the rest in brandy is a nice mix. And then once our pudding is done, we are going to keep topping it up until Christmas Day. So this is a different way to look at it. Instead of soaking the fruit on its own and then making it, we're only going to soak this fruit overnight, and then the next day we're going to make it into a delicious pudding, and then we're going to keep giving the pudding drinks. So the pudding will continue to drink it up until we actually have it at Christmas, where we can set the pudding alight, or we can leave it as is and have it as is. Okay. Is it sounding more attractive now, Janny?
Yeah, you had me at brandy.
Yeah, yeah. Now, with our pudding, we've got a little bit of lemon juice. So freshly squeezed lemon juice there. Now, the reason I have so much in a jar is we do actually add this to the water as well when we're going to cook the pudding, steam the pudding. And then we have some orange juice as well. Okay, so this is giving our fruit lots of things to soak up. Now, our spices, I've already mixed a few bits and pieces into my other mix. We'll go a bit different with this one. So we've got cinnamon. We've got the last of my homemade Christmas spice, and that's a magnificent one, that. It's part of the Festive Favourites cookbook. And a bit of nutmeg it likes to have as well. You can add ginger too. It's usually about half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Add to the spice, and then a very light mix there too. So the array of spices you can also swap out to suit yourself. Okay, so we give it a very light mix together, and this is producing what is the beginning of the pudding, so our pudding base. Now, this recipe is called gluten-free Christmas pudding on cookadoo. So if you want to go looking for it, gluten-free Christmas pudding on cookadoo. Okay, now this is step one. So we've got our pudding base that goes into a container, and then we sit it in the pantry. And this is probably the part I think you might be thinking of, Janny, it sits aside and it soaks up the alcohol and the juice. So this one only soaks overnight, and then the next day we make it into a pudding. So I've been quite clever, and yesterday I already set up one to soak, so we can continue on with it now.
There we go. The things that go
There we go.
become better over time. It's important.
Definitely, definitely. So while I reset for that, I think we should probably go over to Janny and focus on one of her naughty treats. I think we were starting with, am I saying it right, glühwein?
Glühwein, yes, glühwein, or there is a rescue for you on Cookie Dough. Mulled wine is in there as well. It is very, very simple and very, very similar to the traditional glühwein. And I'm going to do the mulled wine with you today. By the way, I'm also going to start a pavlova for you as well. So it's not just the drinks that we're making here, but a pavlova is the Australian side of my life, all right? But my German heritage is the glühwein, and then later on I'm going to make some Eierlikör with you, which is like an eggnog liquor. And I have a secret ingredient for that too, which I'm going to share with you. All right, so
rocket fuel. It is German rocket fuel. Their version of Africa is very strong, so beware.
No, it's not. Anyway, so the glühwein, that is traditionally something we drink on the German Christmas markets when it's freezing cold outside, right? And you need gloves and everything, and you hold on very tight to that cup of glühwein in there. And sometimes it's that cold that you're actually tempted to pour it into your boots just to warm up your frozen toes there again. And yeah, obviously it needs a little bit of fire from the inside as well. It is sweet, and it is and it's hot, or preferably it's hot. So I'm an old sugar girl, so I'm going to replace the sugar today with some Natvia, which is my preferred sweetener of choice. But the recipe calls for sugar between 80 and 120 grams of raw sugar. Like I said, I'm more on the not so sweet side. That's why I'm going with the 80 grams. And we are adding 250 grams of water in here first. So it's not all wine, don't worry. In case you worry. I mean, who worries? But that goes in here. And then we're adding 20 grams of lemon juice. So whenever I have a whole lemon, I just can't help it. I keep the peel, right? Doesn't go in my Christmas pudding though. But I think lemon peel is the most valuable part of a lemon to begin with. So what I usually do is, before I squeeze my lemons, I just peel them, and I keep these strips. I put them into a container, keep them in my freezer. And then I just use them as I go, right? So that is where all the beautiful lemon smell and the aroma is actually in. And so you could use that to and dry that and use that in a lemon butter, for example, or in a lemon and pepper salt. So beautiful gift ideas there on Cookie Dough as well. And and also for the lemonade, in case you want to, or planning something nice for the Christmas table for the kids, make a lemonade, but make sure that the peel is on, because that again is where the aroma is. Okay, so 20 grams of the lemon juice goes in there. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to pour everything in. Waste not, want not. To have a little bit of that zing. And then we pop in 2 whole cinnamon sticks or quills in there for the aroma, that it tastes nice and Christmassy. And 2 whole cloves. They are beautiful. I'm not counting them. I just go, yeah, she'll be right. Are you a cook that needs to have exact measurements, or are you one a little bit like me, where I go like, yeah, that seems about right? What's your way of cooking? What do you prefer? Pop it in the chat.
Slight cash over here, so.
So that was a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg as well. And also I'd like to add, again, a Janny touch, a star anise as well. So that is just because it looks beautiful, and it really makes nice decoration. And I find it very fitting, as in for the Christmas spices, to have that in there as well. So a traditional glühwein would also have orange in it. In the mulled wine recipe, it actually says just for decoration. So that's why I'm cutting a couple of oranges in here as well. Oopsies, adding them to the mix. And now we are popping the lid on top. Our measuring cup, we take the measuring cup, we put the simmering basket on top, and we're just going to heat that up for a couple of seconds for 5 minutes actually, to release all the aroma from our beautiful spices in there. Do you want me to start with the pav or?
I was just going to clarify for everyone, we don't heat it so much that we lose the alcohol though, do we? That's important. I need to know this.
That's right. So that's just the water. The alcohol isn't in there. So we're going on 100 degrees now to release the aroma from the spices and to dissolve the sugar as well. So we're pretty much making a sugar syrup, right? But infusing that with the flavors. And then when we're adding the alcohol later, we're not going above 80 degrees there.
Oh, okay. That's really exciting to know. Well, do you want to get cracking with your pav and then I'll continue on with my pudding? So we can have
Yes, let's do that. All right, just to save us a little bit of time. So I'm making the classic pavlova. And here is full disclosure. I've never made a puff in my life before.
So, on our table, we always have Christmas. So.
I've eaten a lot of them, and I hear it's very tricky to make, but I've observed a couple of consultants doing it, and I think I've learned a couple of steps. So I'm going to share with you what I've learned, and I'm going to practice it and try it out, and let's see how this is going to end up. Because honestly, if I can do it, and I do it live on camera, you can do it too. Okay. All right. So I've chosen the classic pavlova in here, and just to save us a little bit of time. So it's preheated up the oven to 150. I've lined the baking trays already. There is now 2 steps in milling the sugar into icing sugar. I have done that too. So it's 200 grams, and then it's again another 130 grams. And after that, it says transfer into a bowl. So, and I wanted to show you, it's just a trick. Whenever you mill spices or the icing sugar and you have powdery stuff in there, instead of using your spatula, use a pastry brush, right? And get all that fine powdery stuff and your spices out there much more easy than using a spatula. How's that for a trick? There you go.
That is so clever.
Ha ha! Aren't you glad you came today? Well, if you don't walk away with any other new tips, that's your takeaway from today.
I love that. I love that, because often when we make a spice mix or that, we lose so much of it to the side. And unless we're going on to a recipe that uses that spice mix, it's then lost. Exactly.
So you can just brush it out. You can have a nice brush around the blades, and you make sure there is no sugar left in the bowl. So, however, the most important part, and I'm swapping bowls now, so I have a brand new, fresh, cleaned bowl out of the dishwasher. You really need to have, before you're making the puffs, you need to make sure you have a squeaky clean bowl that has no fat in it whatsoever. Otherwise, the egg white will just not stiffen up. And if you want to, you could also do a vinegar wash before. You have about 1 liter of water, 50 grams of vinegar, heat it up and just wash it out on speed 7 or 8, so it goes all the way also to the top, to the lid, making sure that one is fat-free as well. And by the way, same applies for your butterfly whisk. Okay, the vinegar wash is optional, but I have all my stuff in the dishwasher. That should be fine. Just make sure that everything is squeaky clean. All right, so that's the beauty of having a second bowl. Whilst we have that currently on offer until the end of this month, by the way, for an extra $29, you could add an extra bowl to your Thermomix TM6 order. All right, so I've added the butterfly whisk in there. I hope everyone knows about the butterfly whisk. It just sits there on top of the blades, just like so. Honestly, don't believe what you read in the internet. There is no left to the angle when the wind blows from the south and whatnot. Don't forget, this is all completely irrelevant. It just sits in between, either this way or that way, and it will lock in itself the moment they start rotating. All right, now I'm adding 250 grams of egg whites. It says approximately 8 of them. Oh, here we go. Let's see how many I have. That was 8. Oh, okay, I've got one left, and you know what? Waste not, want not. Again, I just pop it in.
I think the perfectionists that watch this back may die a little on the inside, seeing that extra egg white go in.
That's all right. So a pinch of cream of tartar. You find that in your baking aisle in the supermarket. And now we're popping the lid on top, and we are fluffing up our egg whites 5 minutes on 37 degrees. So the heating is important. Really, it helps to stiffen up that egg white. And we're going on speed 3.5. Maximum speed on the with the butterfly inserted is speed 4. You know that. Right, back to you. I just keep continuing. I just add my wine to the glühwein, and you keep talking.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, she's got a party over there.
I do.
So what I've done now, obviously, my fruit is in its separate little container behind me. Soaking, I do have fruit that I pre-soaked last night. That one's in more brandy than anything else. Now it asks for a clean bowl. Well, I haven't got a clean bowl, so oh no. One of the perks. We'll swap out a bowl. I think I would be absolutely lost without spare bowls, honestly. I'm one of those people that frequently forgets ingredients and needs another bowl to swap out and mill things like parmesan and that. So I now have a wonderfully clean bowl ready to go. And it says, this is how clever your Thermomix is, it says the next day, ... In other words, now you have to be patient. Okay, so greasing a pudding basin, which is what I was doing. Just to go through, I have a piece of butter paper. So the paper from your butter, it has just the remnants on it. We grease our little pudding basin. Now, the pudding basins are available for sale on the Mix Shop. So here he is. Fantastic. I do believe we're having a sale at the moment, aren't we, Janny? Yeah.
20% off.
20% off. There you go. So pudding steamer. Fantastic. It doesn't just need to make Christmas pudding though. It makes my favourite pudding of all, which is actually the golden syrup and pumpkin pudding. That's an absolute favourite. And you put a caramel sauce over it. It's so good. But yeah, they're usually quite cheap anyway, the pudding basins. Okay, so here's greased. We are now going to make some almond meal. So we've got our almonds here. It wants 125 grams of almonds that I had pre-weighed. We're really going to hear the power of the Thermomix as we turn almonds at about $9 a kilo into a product that is about 40 something a kilo in 10 seconds flat. So
there we go. So, all right, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good. That was on my end. I could not hear a single thing. There we go. Beautiful milled almonds. And when I do things like this, I tend to use a thermo server as my bowl to put all the bits in. It's also quite good if you've got a thermo server to use it to soak your fruit and that overnight. And if you were doing a longer term soak with something like the Christmas cake where you can soak fruit for a couple of weeks, the thermo server is perfect for that because it's got a little lid you can just take on and off. Okay, almonds done. We've got those to a side and we continue on. Okay, we now have apple in my little piles of things. I have apple. Now, if you want to prep your ingredients, do put some lemon juice on your apple so it doesn't go all yick. We take off the skin and we take out the core. And a nice hard apple like a Granny Smith or that is what's traditionally used for this recipe. Okay.
It also produces our vacuum seal containers that we have, where you don't need the lemon juice, where you can actually, let me get one, show you. They look like this, and there you can suck out the air out of the container, and it prevents it from oxidizing, so going brown, and it keeps your fruit for a long time in there.
So clever, Janny, and the sizes that they've got too. The little one is just perfect for something like the apple or that, or dips. There we go. Okay, so
Can I just say, my glühwein smells so good already. Oh, brings back memories.
Yeah. When did you last make glühwein? I'm guessing quite some time ago.
Yes, that's right. But I'm going to go to Germany actually and have the original over Christmas this year. So looking very much forward to that.
That'll be lovely. I now have butter. So another thing to note with this pudding, it is much better for you than most puddings that you could buy. It doesn't have suet in it, and the entire pudding only has 80 grams of butter. Not bad for a pudding of its size, definitely. So we've got our 80 grams of butter. Then we have our dark brown sugar. So 90 grams of dark brown sugar and 30 grams of black treacle. Now you can get this at the supermarket, the black treacle. If you can't, you can use molasses if you have to in its place. But black treacle is definitely the best. It gives it a wonderful depth of flavour. As you can tell, it has more with my brown sugar quite happily. Like a lovely sticky mess.
I just want to quickly show off my egg white.
Wow. That was
Look
so
fast,
right?
It was really super fast, and I dare turn the bowl upside down so you can see it's really stiff sitting in there. And right, that's where we continue with the recipe, and because that's going to take a couple of minutes, so again 5 minutes, I just quickly want to explain what I'm doing here. So I pop the lid back on, and I'm going to turn it back on to speed 3, and then I will use a spoon, and so without the measuring cup there on top, and I use a spoon to slowly add the sugar, the icing sugar that we've prepared earlier, into the mix. So very slow, 1 spoon at a time. All right, and do that over the complete 5 minutes. So no rushing here. Very important.
Okay, so really, when you look at it next to a traditional pav, it's done all of the first part itself, the Thermomix has, and now your job is just to spoon in some icing sugar while it continues whipping. Fantastic. Okay, well, I am adding 2 medium eggs into the butter, the treacle, and the brown sugar there as well. And then we are going to give this a quick mix for 30 seconds. So a nice mix. I'd love to know in the chat, do you make pavlova? Is it a Christmas staple at your house? Okay. So mixing away here. Let's see if anyone makes no.
Vera has shared that she makes the Christmas spice recipe. And she has made pavlova 3 times.
Right.
Yay, there you go. So maybe you can teach me something about pav.
Okay, I love that you've made pav 3 times. Have you tried the pav stacks or just a traditional pav? I love doing there's a black forest pavlova stack. It looks incredible. That's a really lovely one. So what will you do with yours?
She has adapted to 4 eggs. There we go. So pretty much half that recipe. That's good.
So now I've got corn flour here. So really our main stabilizers in the gluten-free pudding, we've got 25 grams of corn flour and we've got the almond meal. So it's a no traditional flour of any sort recipe, this one. So in there that goes. Okay, we've got our almond and apple mixture goes in now. So that's these guys here. Okay. And our reserved fruit that I soaked yesterday. That's all lovely and plump now. So it goes in there. All lovely and ready to go with its spices. And this is where you see the puddings with all the different wonderful flavours. with a recipe like this, you can choose the flavour. You can choose the type of citrus or that, or whether you omit it altogether. You can choose the type of alcohol to give it that real flavour through it, the spice flavours, the works. Okay, so also a teaspoon of gluten-free baking powder there. In that goes. And we give it a quick mix for 30 seconds. Well, I may not be able to hear you over this. Janny, it's over to you, my dear.
Yeah, so whilst you're mixing, my pav's actually fluffed up even more, so it's almost trying to escape through the mixing bowl lid at the moment. And also what I can see in here, it's starting to have this beautiful glacé finish, so a glossy finish. Is that more correct? Yeah, for the terms. So I just keep adding that here. So meanwhile, my glühwein has finished over there, and what the next steps are is pretty much to strain it through the simmering basket into a nice jug that we can serve it for. I'm cheating. I have this teapot with the sieve here in the middle, and what I'm going to do is I just pour that straight into through my sieve here, and oh, that smell! I wish you could. All of you just smell that. Beautiful. Right, so here are my leftovers, and I'm going to pour that into a serving glass, and I've decorated that with a slice of orange. And you can see the steam coming up. It's piping hot. That's exactly what it's meant to be. And now you understand if there's -6 degrees outside, that is exactly what you need to keep warm there.
I love that. Okay, well, I have pudding and it is ready to go into its basin. So I've got my little pudding basin here that has been buttered. You can use it with the lid should you choose to, but I'm going to teach you today how to do the traditional process, which is with foil and baking paper. So we've got our pudding, in it goes. Now don't be alarmed, it will completely fill your little pudding basin. And the one from the mix shop is made to fit into your baroma as well. So actually made for your Thermomix. Oh, I can smell the apple as well. That's interesting. And all the spices. Now, if you wanted this less alcoholic, you could, of course, use different types of non-alcoholic spirits that you can get your hands on. And definitely don't continue to top it once it is it's sitting in the cupboard awaiting Christmas as well. So if you would like it to be more traditional, do keep topping it with alcohol as it sits and waits for Christmas.
So I'm just adding here a little bit of vinegar, a teaspoon of vinegar, a teaspoon of vanilla. Well, it says natural vanilla extract. I'm not an extract fan. I use my bean paste. And also 2 tablespoons of corn flour, which I quickly need to get from the pantry.
Yeah, the very end of pav, it's gently, and then you're very quickly going to throw a couple of ingredients in to stabilize the pavlova, so it stays big and fluffy and wonderful. Yeah. Now, pro tip with your pudding, make sure it's got no bubbles in it, so do give it a bit of a tap. Me over here tapping away, Janny, don't mind me.
Yeah. I'm tapping through. That was my corn flour. Oh, corn flour is always a mess. Right? It's just you can be as careful as you want to be. Corn flour is a disaster. Yeah, you can take your pastry brush to brush your Thermomix air and wipe it off the kitchen bench.
The brush has many uses for you. You now need to bring out the mini pack.
I know. How good would that be, right? You know what? I'm going to whip that another 30 seconds because it's so full. Can't be the extra egg white, you don't think? What's that? That little bit?
Maybe. With egg
Maybe,
whites,
see?
I love that.
See,
Sorry,
I'm a
Jenny.
winger. I don't like following recipes to the T. Sometimes I think I know better. And it turns out, no, you did not.
So it's still beautiful and puffy and glossy in that though?
Yes, it is. I'll show you. So a bit closer. All right. Oh, my dog. Ooh, here we go. So now just gently transfer that into your pre-prepared pepper. Look at that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I got a wow there. That's awesome. So so this is the large rose gold oven tray with the liner that we have in here. It's beautiful to have the circles as an indication on where you want to pop your pav. So I'm going to start from the middle. It's better if that's not moving.
Can I give you a pro pav tip as well?
Absolutely.
Take your spatula, your slightly pav coated spatula, lift the edges of your baking paper and do a dot. This will then pin down the baking paper so it can't come up when you're cooking it, and also when you're trying to get it in the circle. Just prevents any movement. That's a bit of a tip from me from the old days.
There you go. Look at you. Us two sharing all our insights here.
It was.
I think I can make 2 pavs out of that.
It's a lot of mix. It was always a job given to one of us kids, and I was one of the older grandkids. So I've probably been making pavs since about the age of 6 or 7.
There we go. Yeah. I'm actually going to make 2.
Wow, Janny, it's so fluffy.
It is. Hey, Kels, did you know that there is actually also a vegan pavlova or egg-free pavlova recipe on Cookie Dough?
I did not.
Yeah,
is it with the chickpea, is it aquafaba?
Yes, exactly, with the aquafaba. So if we have anyone interested, or if you're hosting Christmas this year and you know there's some dairy-free people coming, or maybe vegans, then have a look at the alternative here for an egg-free or vegan pavlova instead.
Wow, that's so big and fluffy, Janny.
I know. I'm very happy.
My grandmother would approve.
That, I mean, honestly, this is me doing a pat for the very first time. If I can do that, really, anyone can do.
These classes are all about, aren't they? Oh, wow.
Wowzers, huh? So put that in the
Janny's pat,
oven.
definitely.
And I've decided I'm not going to lay out, so I'm going to have another one.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And this same mix you can make into mini pavs should you want to. All sorts of pieces. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay.
Absolutely. Well, do you keep going? Do you have another recipe you want to show us?
No, I do indeed. I did just want to finish up with the pudding. Now you've got options with the pudding. If you're using any old basin, you will definitely want to put a little circle in the base, especially if it's not so non-stick. This gives, when you get it out of your basin, gives something to lift. So we put that in the very base. I haven't bothered with this one. It's completely new non-stick rose gold, so it will just plonk out. So there's that. But we will stay traditional with how to cover our pudding instead of using the lid. So we do a pleat in a piece of baking paper. And that's the first piece that we put down, is our pleated baking paper. The pleat is so it can expand as we cook it. And then we do a pleat in some foil, and we put that on top too. Okay, so these guys are going to seal in our pudding. We've then got 2 choices, either the traditional string choice, which just some butcher's string. I find it hard to tie. It's a good one if you've got family around and they can tie it while you hold it and all the rest. If you're a lone pudding maker like I am today, an elastic band is your best friend. So we just form it on the pudding. We get our elastic band. We'll shove it over the pudding if we can. Even then, it might put up a slight bite. One of those times you wish you had about 4 hands to do it. And then we have it covered up there, ready to go in our varoma. Now, with the steaming of the pudding, it is actually 4 hours to steam a pudding and then it's ready to eat. I recommend getting this stage done nice and early, so from now, and then you've got your pudding that you can drizzle with alcohol in the cupboard. Then the day of Christmas, you just heat it up in the varoma, an hour steaming, and it'll be beautiful like you just made it. So that's the way of doing it. Or you can even serve it cold after setting it alight for the beautiful like flambe. So there you go. That's your pudding. How's pav number 2 going?
Yeah, pav number 2 is also absolutely beautiful. And the things that I've learned, I mean, so look, I'm confident making a pav for the very first time on camera. But the things that I've learned from my consultant colleagues really is all these tips and tricks that I'm sharing with you, and I'm just replicating this. That's one of the best parts, actually, I think, in our job, is that we're constantly learning and we're getting challenged to try new things that we haven't tried before. And yeah, that's just what we do. This is how we roll. So again, I'm the beginner, so it says place into the oven. I have preheated it to 150. So now I'm going to turn it down to 120 and bake it for 1 hour, and for 1 hour and 20 minutes, right? So doing all this as per instructions, because now I don't know what I'm doing.
As a first-time pav maker, Janny, heads up, you're not allowed to make dinner tonight now. So if you want to use your oven, it is out of commission until I give it overnight. So personally in our house, if it's a pav making day, it's not until the next morning will I get the pav out of the oven. So just to make sure.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I've got a Thermomix.
You've got Thermomixes. You probably barely use the oven anyway.
That's right. So I'll pop these 2 beauties in here. And by the way, because you were saying that the prepping for Christmas Day, did you know that you can freeze your pavs as well? So there's absolutely no problem.
I have never frozen. You can keep them for a good 6 weeks in the pantry in a sealed container as well. So you've got quite a bit of leeway with a pav. I didn't realise you could freeze them though. That's clever. Yeah.
And again, it's something I've learned from one of my colleagues there. All right. Are we ready for the eggnog liquor?
Yes. Get your eggnog on, and then your I can't even say it. How do we say it properly in German?
What the well, I call it Eierlikör, the avocado.
Eierlikör.
Eierlikör.
Okay, I'm probably murdering this, so apologies.
It's called on cookie dough. You will find it's called avocado. That's pretty much the brand, and it's an eggnog liquor. So you will find, if you type in eggnog into cookie dough, it'll come up. All right, so now we have obviously a lot of egg yolks left. Oh, where am I? Let's see.
Here you are.
Can't see me. There we go. So this is why I love these 2 recipes to complement each other very nicely, because now we have a lot of egg yolks left over, and so we need to make something out of them. So either if you're deciding to start with the egg yolk, with the eggnog liquor, and have the egg whites over for the pav, or the other way around, that's completely up to you. So we're going to start again with inserting the butterfly whisk, and now I'm using the bowl where I had the icing sugar in earlier. So I didn't have to clean that, not for this recipe. So sometimes it's really also a good idea, if you're planning on cooking multiple things, then have a look, what is it that complements each other, so you don't have to actually clean the bowls in between and just keep going. Then we're adding 250 grams of caster sugar. Again, I'm going a little bit with my own mixture here with my sugar replacement, but it's just because, you know, you not get to try that. You do your own. And I'm going to go with...
There's a stevia one that's just like sugar, and I use it to make so the toddler doesn't... The Natvia I'm using, that is a mixture of stevia and erythritol. It's safe for pets. There's xylitol as well out there as an alternative, but that will kill your pets, your dogs. So that's why I don't have that in my house. And I'm reducing the sugar a bit. It says 250 here. I'm going with 200 sweetener in total. And then it's again the vanilla extract. It says half a teaspoon. As we all saw, that was roughly half a teaspoon. And now we're mixing this up and just popping that lid on top. And we are mixing that for about 5 minutes on 70 degrees. It's a different recipe that I usually use. I'm pretty sure you can just tuck it all in and do it in one go. Let me have a look. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to stop that. When I see that, that's fine because it's going to cook all of that together. I'm going back. So I had the vanilla in there. Right, beautifully mix that all up. And now, so in this recipe, it says to use evaporated milk. In the original recipe that I have from Germany, we are actually using cream. So just replace it with what you have and what you'd like. And I'm going to add that 375. I'm sensing this is a very low-calorie health drink that you're making.
Oh, absolutely. That's more on the healthier end of the spectrum. It's Christmas. There's no rules, right? And then
high fats and that too. Cream is your friend. So yeah.
Now comes the vodka.
And now some vodka. Okay.
Vodka, 125 grams of vodka goes in here. Yet again, the German version that I would make is not with vodka. It is actually with corn. Don't worry about it. I've done it in the past with brandy only. So the next step is 125 brandy. If you don't want the vodka in it, you can just go full on brandy. That's totally fine. I'm already at 150 and, you know, one for the road. You can do that. And now comes my secret ingredient. And Vera was so kindly, she said she's making the Christmas spice mix. So that's my top secret ingredient. So the Christmas or the gingerbread spice mix. Are you going to make it for us, Kelly? Or
the moment that is on, I'm going to make gingerbread, but I won't make the spice mix.
You don't make the spice mix, okay? Because that spice mix makes quite a lot, and you can use that for multiple batches. So if you don't have any idea what else to do, now here is my hot tip, and I would add half a teaspoon of that into my eggnog liquor, and that makes it extra Christmassy, all right? So now I'm popping that back on, and here it says 3 minutes, but we had the other, so I'm going to go with about 10 minutes on 70 degrees and on speed 4. There we go. Back to you, Kat.
Beautiful. So cooking away. Well, I've got we were just talking about throw it in and away you go. I'm going to make gingerbread. Now, this one recipe for gingerbread can be used for all different things. So I've made some little stars on that yesterday with my daughter. But today I'm going to use the molds to make a house. Now, as we said, the mix shop is having a sale. Make sure you put your consultant's name in. The gingerbread molds are incredible. So they're made of silicone. You fill them out, you put them on a tray and bake them. And then, of course, cool them. I tend to then assemble the gingerbread house within a few days of that with some lovely white icing and a few cans of whatever you've got in the pantry. The cans are for structural support. So you do need something to hold it up while the icing sets, and I like to put a can per side just to hold it up. I have seen people put skewers in, but that will, of course, crumble the gingerbread. So I recommend just icing and prop it up until it sets nice and firm. Okay, so our gingerbread, I'll just run through what it's got. Now, this can be made gluten-free quite easily too. 380 grams of plain flour, which, as I said, can be gluten-free. We have 1.5 tablespoons of ground ginger. I'm losing my voice now. Tablespoon, so lots of ginger. It's very gingery. A teaspoon of mixed spice, and I use the Christmas spice that we were just speaking about. So I make it for the gingerbread, I make it for the Christmas pudding, I make it for lots of things, and I've just emptied my little container, so I'll make more. Another pro tip with that spice mix, of course, is to put it and some star anise and that in some water, cook it, and you will scent your whole house like Christmas. That's a really fun one to do as well. We have a teaspoon of bicarb in there as well. We've got 100 grams of brown sugar. You can use a dark brown sugar for an even richer gingerbread. We've got 150 grams of golden syrup, 150 grams of butter, a pinch of sea salt, and we've got our egg yolk here. Okay, this is a throw it in and away you go. So I've got it all in a container here. This is how easy it is. So we're going to plonk all of this into our Thermomix, and I make one hell of a mess because that's just how I am. Okay, in it all goes. Because I've pre-weighed everything. I've been very clever about it. When I made yesterday's gingerbread, I did up this container as well, so I was ready to go. Now, gingerbread will keep quite happily in your cupboard for months if you let it. It's nice and stable. It's more that the family will eat it a lot faster than that. You can use gingerbread as Christmas ornaments too, if you wanted to, on the tree. Another fun thing you can do with them. And icing them with kids, and that is always a ton of fun. Okay, so on goes our lid. It's going to quickly whip this together. And then we're going to knead it quickly.
My house smells like Christmas already. I love it so much. So it gets me full into the swing of these. Then we're going to do Christmas cookie baking.
I love baking Christmas cookies. Do you make the traditional vanilla ones?
There's a lot of traditional ones out there. I'm usually making the ones these are original recipes from my mother-in-law. I had to leave the country to be able to access these recipes.
Okay.
She shared them with me when we left. So I was able to recreate them for the kids. But yeah, there's the Zimtsterne, so the cinnamon stars we have. There's the Pfeffernüsse, there's the gingerbread as well. They're also very traditional. The coconut macarons.
Oh, wow.
Or is it macaroons? It's not the one with the, I don't know which one it is which. So not the one with the beautiful cream inside. So these are the ones where you have these heaped spoons where, have them just also with the egg whites in there as well. And the vanilla ones, plenty.
I was going to say, Jenny, I'd love to see what you traditionally make for Christmas and that as well, because I know that you do a lot of things with egg whites and almond meal and stuff like that traditionally in Germany, don't you?
Yes, we do.
A lot of it's gluten-free, which really suits me quite nicely.
I know. So we got to celiac as well in the house, so I have adopted a lot of my recipes now into gluten-free as well. Sometimes it just happens and out of the blue, and we are lucky to have our beautiful machines that can just help us with that.
Wonderful. Well, I am going to grab a baking mat. I've got that many of them. I love these. Got the beautiful mats. And I'm going to bring this dough together a little bit more before I push it out into the mold. So it's about me done. Okay, so out it comes. And we're just going to bring it together. Oh, there it goes. Okay, if you find that your gingerbread is extra crumbly, usually the butter was really cold, which mine was. And also sometimes the eggs may not be quite large enough, like the egg yolk that you use. So you may need a touch more egg yolk, but this one, it's just butter, so that's okay. It smells amazing, absolutely amazing. If you haven't made gingerbread, definitely get on it. Make some. It is so easy and it makes an incredible gift. And if you made it now, it'll still be as fresh as for Christmas too.
And you can freeze the dough as well if you want. So you can make the dough and yeah, just pop it in a Ziploc bag and make it very flat. And then you can freeze it and yeah, and take it out whenever you're ready.
Lovely. Well, we did a test with the gingerbread house, much to the dismay of my other half. And I like to see how long you can really keep something. And this gingerbread house made it in our house. It was about a year old by the time I finally let him eat it, because I'd made several. So he slowly ate his way through everything we had. And this one house I had sitting aside for a year by the time it was broken down and that. And apart from the icing discolouring, the gingerbread was still perfectly fine. So it's amazing how long it lasts. So what we need to do with our gingerbread dough, this recipe, so on Cookadoo, it's just gingerbread biscuits, the traditional one. It makes enough for the house mould, and we just break it into 7 parts. So it's usually about 7 parts makes up what we need to fill the house mould. Okay. Steal some more bits. Okay, because you want, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th is all the little bits that you've got to fill out as well. Okay, so we'll fill that there. Lovely. And then we just press it out and bake it. It's very simple stuff. How is Janny's house of alcohol going over there?
Yeah, that's just another 2 minutes. So what I would like to suggest is you know, to go around in your op shops around you and hunt them down for beautiful bottles and jars, and there's a lot out there, so no need to buy the things new that you have, and you get them for, I don't know, 50 cents or $1 or so. They're really super cheap. You can wash them out, you can sterilize them. By the way, you can sterilize your jars and bottles in the aroma as well, right? So the way you do that, you just pop it onto, you put some water, like 500 mils of water, half a liter water, and put it on 20 minutes on the aroma, speed 2 minimum. And just put the bottles on the top, have them lying there in the aroma, and this way you sterilize them and they're good to go. So if you do that when you're making jams, or maybe you're planning on making some Christmas gifts like a chutney or these kind of things, right? You want to make sure that your jars are sterile so they last longer. And yeah, so that is a very cheap gift that you can make. But what I love about making homemade gifts or giving homemade gifts is that the act of making it, right, is part of the gift as well. So you are not actually just giving them the thing that you have made or that you have created, but you're also giving them your time and your love that you pour into the beautiful things that you're making, right? Just standing there and doing all of this. Putting there a nice ribbon on it, and that really, it comes from the heart, and people really do love homemade gifts when you gift them. And so yeah, I'm pretty much ready here. I just stop that. So what I need is one of the jars and a funnel. And just waiting for that to cool down. Here we go. And oh, again, that smell. I'm so sorry you can't have that now. But that looks like egg soup right now. So I'm going to pour that in so you can have a look. That is 70 degrees piping hot. In this way, our sugar has completely dissolved. It's about 8 minutes or so. I had that cooking. And obviously with the 70 degrees, the alcohol is still there. And well, there's more in here for a second bottle. But look at that. This is a beautiful gift that you can go to your next door neighbor, and they are going to love you for the rest of the year. And then just let them know that if they give the bottle back, you give them a refill next year.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, as you can see over here, as I'm pressing out my gingerbread ready to bake, just to finish up, I did want to show you some ready-made ones as well. So I'll set that over to a side while it bakes away. I've got over here, we must be on theme today, Janny, because I've got the large vacuum seal. Now, considering I know gingerbread lasts a very long time, I think in the large vacuum seal you probably get years out of it. Okay, so we've got, I'll bring them up just to show you how they work. So just different gingerbread made with the family. You can make them into little men. So these haven't been iced yet. You can do your gingerbread, the traditional Christmas stars, and you can use a skewer to put a hole through and hang them on the tree. And of course, the trees themselves, which the kids love icing, and they do their little bobbles and that on. So just your traditional gingerbread. Smells amazing, absolutely amazing. I have to give that another test soon as well. So excellent, excellent. So with your drinks and that, Janny, how long does Advocate keep for?
Are you kidding me? Are you asking how fast I drink that?
No, if you were to make it ahead though, you'd probably get what?
An hour?
No. 3, I don't think it's chill it. Such an animal. 3 to 5 days?
No, obviously that was going to last a couple of weeks in the fridge. So definitely store the eggnog in the fridge in there. Really offer that whenever you have any Christmas get-togethers. And I have, honestly, this is full disclosure, I've been making this for many, many years, and actually my friends ask me every year for it. And this is the one time where you can observe your guests licking the glasses. That's how good it is. So, and they're going to ask for more, and they're like, oh, it's quite strong. And you go, yeah, I know. I'm going to have another one. So yeah, so honestly, it's not going to last very long, just for the purpose because it's so yummy. However, yes, a couple of weeks in the fridge. You will see when it cools down, it might separate a little bit. Just give it a good shake, and you're good to go. So that is really a hot tip here for the Christmas gifts. Just also because you said that
your puddings and your gingerbreads last very long. They do, but you need to go with the good old sugar, right? So it won't last that long with any sugar replacement. Just wanted to point that out true. Because the sugar is so the preservative. Yeah.
Yeah, because that sugar will preserve. The alcohol can only do so much in a pudding. You do need the traditional sugar. So gingerbread, Christmas pudding. By the time I'm done, I will have 3 Christmas puddings. So I will be so ready for all the different Christmas events. So yeah, so thank you everyone for jumping on and learning 5 hopefully new Christmas favourites. 6 if you count making your own gingerbread house too.
Yeah, or I mean, not so traditional or new the path, but anyway, it's an oldie but a goldie. It's still sitting in there and looking beautiful in my oven. So obviously I can't open it right now and I can't show you how it looks right now for quality purposes. As we know.
I look forward to seeing the pictures on socials. Janny, thank you so much for doing today with me. It's been really fun. Being able to see the different things that you make and that. And I still have memories of that egg liqueur, and it's like rocket fuel. So yes, definitely get on it. If you can get the traditional German alcohol for it, it is next level.
Yeah, no, that's all right. We're going to share the links with the recipes in our follow-up email with all of you. So don't worry about if you haven't caught really the recipes right now. So if you, and I just saw that from Marie, she's asking what was the recipe. So if you type in eggnog into your cookie dough search field, it will come up with the avocado eggnog liquor. Then you'll see it there. But we're gonna share the links with you, so don't worry. We got you covered. All right. Thanks so much for joining us. That's it for today. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I don't see you before then, which I probably won't. And I hope we see you around next time we have other shenanigans going on.
Okay, bye guys. Thanks for jumping on.
Bye.